Don't blink, it's your blink. Welcome to the show. You guys are doing well, so having a wonderful day on this 24th April 2025. We're talking about easy life. There was a couple of events yesterday that happened. Again, this is the beauty of making content every single day. Some of the events that happened yesterday make me think, fuck, I have an easy life, right? And then I'm asking myself the question, how easy was my life? And then the only reason I was able to ask myself the question is because last week we did a video with the mentors, right? Not the Dementors from Harry Potter, but my mentors as in teacher of life, right? And I realized that there's been something that I've been carrying for more than a decade actually. And this is the genesis of this idea of an easy life. I was looking at AEW, which one of my first jobs. I think it was my third job. AEW was my third job. We went to Costco, then we went to IGA, then it was AEW. And then what happened that was insane was I had this girl and she was into me, right? And I wasn't into her because she was a bit more I was 20, she was 25. She was a lovely girl. She was hot. But I wasn't interested in her at all because at 25 she had her whole life figured out. And I was like, that's cool, but I want to have a little bit of wonder, right? And she told me, and I remember she was crying. She was asset manager, and she was crying, and a customer treated her like shit, right? And the girl was kind of a bitch to everybody but me. She was mean to everybody. I could come in late. She didn't give a fuck. She was really into me, right? And I used it against her because I was 20 years old and I was an asshole. But she was crying because one of the customer was mean to her. And then everybody gave a fuck. Everybody stopped caring because she was so mean to them. Then I came in and say, hey, what's wrong? She said, you don't understand. I'm like, what you mean? I get customers that are mad at me every single day, which is not a good thing, but still. And she said, you're white, and you are in your early 20s. Now she was 25 and she was black. And I'm like, what you mean? It's like, I'm a woman, I'm black, and I'm almost in my 30s, which is not true. You're in your 25. Relax. But at the same time, she was under the emotion, right? And that was the very first time where somebody put in my face, "You're lucky," right? And I brushed it off because I'm like, okay, well, she's emotional, you know. But after that, it stayed in my mind, and it stayed, and it stayed, and it stayed, and stayed. And it stayed in my mind to a point where it was always in the back of it, you know. So then I was talking about my mentor last week, and yesterday I go in, right? And you know, I swear to God, it's gonna be hard to believe, but I swear to God, it's true. So I got the person that gives the formation, a lady, right? Possibly in her late 40s, early 50s, a MILF. And I'm not here to judge people on her libido and sexuality, but also the way she dressed, high heel, very nice legging. You can tell that she's taking care of herself, you know. So she comes in and she passed. She looked at me. She put her hand on my shoulder. I'm like, okay, well maybe she's just nice, right? And then she passed again, and then she touched my tattoo, and she's like, hey, it's a really nice tattoo. And I'm like, okay. And it came across as flirtatious, you know. And then at the very end, I was like, and I'm a fucking dumbass, right? At the end, I told her she came to my table and she's like, hey, I think it's okay. I said, thank you so much. And she's like, oh, you're welcome. You have very nice tattoos. So I'm like, okay. And then it's the girl next to me. I don't know her. We talked a little bit, but I don't know her name. And she said, she was flirting with you, right? So I'm like, really? Like, yeah, she was. And, you know, I have to admit that I was going to the formation. So it's complicated. I went to the formation of Secretariat, which is basically secretary to people who are counting votes, right? And it's not a job that okay. So it's not a job that I would want to do, but it's a job that I want because it's a job, you know, and I need to work. But it's also the fact that, you know, it's not my first time working at election. And working at election, I don't know, this is personally, this is how I feel. This is possibly just a train of thoughts. But they'll put in so much, and they'll talk. Then you're stressed because I have so much to remember. But then you come in the place and everybody's helping each other, so it's super easy. So my fourth time, I'm aware of that. So yesterday I came in with the mentality of Doesn't matter how hard it seems right now. Let's wait until we're in place, right? And when we're in place, we're gonna be able to say, okay, well, this is difficult and this is not difficult, right? That's A. B. We have another information today, and that's the job that I really want, which is asset manager, which is also welcoming people. Because you're welcoming people, which is what I did last time. It's really fun. So yeah, last time I did it, I was actually started making content. We were playing Devil May Cry, which was, I think it was the 7th or 8th game we played on the channel, which was about 4 years ago. I want to talk about. I started in May 2021. I want to talk about possibly October, November 2021, right? So very, very 4 or 5 months after, right? Which is a lot, but it's not a lot at the same time. So yeah, then because I was flirtatious, the girl next to me, she was talking, she got in trouble. I didn't get in trouble. And she was talking to me, so But there's a time where I felt like I had it easy. I had a lot of great friends, and I talk to you guys often about how I feel that sometimes the friendship that I form with people, it's a bit one-sided. Because I'm the guy that's getting the most out of it. I'm getting their help, I'm getting whatever, XYZ, right? And since I'm a nice guy, or I try to be a nice guy at least, even when I make content, people are super nice to me, And some of them, they want to take advantage of this kindness, of course. But most people, just a handful. Handful will like, yo, help me out. But most people will just be like, hey, you know what? You're a cool dude. They don't ask anything. Like yesterday I was eating rice. Oh my god, it's a TikTok. I was at TikTok live. I was eating rice, right? And I'm not doing well mentally. I'm not doing well at all. We're doing okay. We're managing, but there's offset of depression, of course. And yesterday we're doing the TikTok live, right? And we're eating rice. And I was talking about how this was important to me. And then people came in, and I had like a 30 minutes conversation on rice. I was like, what the fuck? And I'm grateful because I didn't want to talk about myself. I didn't want to talk about another thing. In rice, it just came up, right? And it was 2 a.m. So I was like, okay, well, that's weird. If people want to talk about it so much, then there's possibly 2 reasons. People just wanted to talk no matter the hour, right? But it's also nice. It's also nice because I got to talk about something that I didn't mind talking about, right? And I'm trying to be live every single day, but it's very tiring. It's very hard, So yeah, so that's pretty much it. So with the easy life, I have parents that are super there, right? And the reason why I'm saying that is because, my parents, they really have a bad relationship between them, right? But they still showed up when I'm in need, and I'm extremely lucky for that. A lot of people, they say, well, you're 32 years old, you have to take care of yourself, which is true. But they helped me out. I had the bills. Last week, about the 13,000. And yes, it's been a mess. Yes, I had to take care of them because not mentally speaking, but emotionally speaking, my mom's a wreck. My father was stressed, which is not stress. Because my father's not stressed, he doesn't know how to deal with stress, which is completely normal. But then, they have showed up for me, both of them, right? In different ways, of course, but they both showed up for me. And for that, I'm super thankful. For that, I'm super thankful. A lot of parents would be like, well, tough shit, you're going to be learning a lesson, right? But they were there for me. And for that, I'm super grateful. So I'm trying to, it's rough because thinking that you had the easy life, there's a lot more example. Like I told you guys this story before. Like one of the first job that I had for a long time, it was closed. I was getting a lot of hours. Was for a bakery, the one next to my house that I showed you before, and the boss was a bit of misogynistic, right? Not in the way where he treated women badly, but there still was a boys' club. Like the number of time we were in the fridge and drinking wine, the 3 of us, my boss, me, and the cook, who was also a dude, compared to the lady who were working. Right now, is that fair? No. Is it a big deal? I don't think so. More to the principle. It's not about they're drinking wine in the fridge. It's more to that we have to work and it's not fair. Then at the same time, we were 3 out of 12. They could have revolted. They could have revolted and say, hey, this is bullshit. Fuck you. Like, you're right. It is bullshit. So at the same time, it's kind of like on them a little bit, right? But it's just And then, even then, there's so many. For example, with the PCT, I was still an agency worker, right? And they would protect me. They would protect me. They would really protect me. They would take care of me. They would make sure that I'm fed, you know, and they were really nice to me. And they made sure that they protect me because, again, the boss was like, "Hey, Ink got hurt. I need to replace him." And then this is a story that I don't tell a lot, but it was Romanian with Romanian, and the guy that they replaced me with was Moldavian, right? And he spoke the language. He was a really nice guy. And then they still kicked him out to get me back in. And I was an agency worker, you know. So there's 10 moments in my life where I was lucky. I was the lucky one. But then, is it normal? Is it normal that you have some breaks in life, right? And then, is it normal that people are nice to you? So what I'm talking about how when I'm talking about how life is a bit easy on the easy mode, is it something that is normal? Is it something that is not normal? And the answer is I don't know. I don't know because I don't know people's lives, you know. So there's a lot of my friends that are gonna go through shit, and I'm like, yeah, but you put yourself through that shit, you know. You were dumb, and again, I'm saying disrespectfully, but like there's just this girl, right? That I know, and she was in an abusive relationship, right? And that abusive relationship, you know, the guy had an inkling of, oh, I changed, and because he had an inkling of, oh, I changed, she followed him to buy a new house, and she put all of her life saving, and people, everybody, myself included, give me a sec, guys. The clouds are beautiful today. Look at this. Look at this. Yeah. Sorry guys, the clouds were really nice. You know? And everybody told her, no, don't do it, don't buy the house for him. Like, no, he's changing. Now she bought a house. And now she's fucked financially because she gave so much to that guy, you know? But then whose decision was it to I have a pimple and it's really hurting. Whose decision was it to do it, right? So sometimes I feel like people are putting themselves in those situations. If so, am I lucky because I don't put myself in those situations? But me not putting myself in those situations means that I live less, right? I often talk about how one of the best moments of my life was at 20 years old when I stayed 1 year in the apartment just playing video games, listening to podcasts, listening to radio, just playing games. It was really fun. I was eating fucking rice, ramen. It was still the best time of my life, right? And I think that if you were to ask me, why is it the best time of your life? The answer would possibly be, well, you know, it was easy, right? Which is completely being honest. However, right, that's come at a price. Yes, I avoided a lot of problem because I stayed in, but then there's a lot of situation that I could have just had a good time. And I didn't allow myself to have a good time because I was so stuck in the house that I missed out, right? The number of times people say, hey, come to the party. I was like, no, I'm going to stay in. There's consequences to that. And those consequences to that might not be as bad as, well, you missed out the love of your life because it was at the party and you were supposed to meet her there, right? It might not go there, but there's possibly things that I could have lived that would have been beneficial for me that I didn't, right? So am I lucky? Do I have an easy life? Did I give enough effort? Or was I able to face a lot? And then there's a lot of things that you're going to be facing that you're going to be like, you know what? I don't want to face that. I don't want to face that. So I'm going to live in denial. Or yeah, denial is like actually a good word. Or I'm going to live in a position where I don't have to worry about this. I'm going to be focusing on myself. I'm going to be focusing on doing A, B, and C to make sure that I don't have to suffer this. And it's going to be it, right? And I think that ultimately speaking, it's up to you. I think it's all up to you to choose the way of life. But it's up to you to choose the way of life that you want. But it's also, there's also, if you believe in fate, something that you're supposed to do that you're not doing, that's going to be consequential, right? So yeah. Anyway, that's it for us for now. Love you guys. Take it easy. Peace.